We're half-naked people standing in spotlights.
Nice.
Because he has a big package?
It's a little disappointing.
But I love it.
I don't like him.
What is this thing?
Didn't even know what to think. I got really scared. I got really nervous.
No, you're just not getting it.
Like he has a swollen tongue, right?
Not even how to start. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Here's where everyone's gonna make fun of me.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
Screw you, bro.
Hello everybody and welcome to our week 1 Opposite Worlds recap. We have so much in store for you guys this recap episode. We are being joined by Rachel Horton, the house guest unfortunately eliminated this past week on Opposite Worlds. But before we get to all of that, I just have a few little announcements to let you guys know. Of course, don't forget to comment below if you guys are watching this on YouTube so that we can interact with you and keep the conversation going. Of course, thumbs up and subscribe. That really helps support our shows, as does using that Amazon link over on the homepage of YourRealityRecaps.com for all of your Amazon and online shopping. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we are doing daily vlogs now as well, and you can check them out at YourRealityRecaps.com/vlog. They're so much fun, a way for you guys to just get to know us a little bit better outside of reality TV. We do a whole bunch of different stuff on them, and they are super fun, so you guys need to go check them out. And of course, if you want our live show schedule for when our vlogs are coming up, or when we're chatting during a show, or when we're doing shows like this one live, head over to YourRealityRecaps.com/live show. And of course, right now, Talking Opposite Worlds, we are covering it all season long with vlogs and blogs and shows like this recap show with the eliminated house guest. So much more in store for you guys this whole entire season. You can check out all our Opposite Worlds coverage over at YourRealityRecaps.com/worlds. But oh boy, we have so much to talk about from this first week. Let's jump right into it. You guys know the deal. You can follow me over at Twitter. I'm at Reality Recaps.
Hey everyone, it's John Richardson. So excited to talk about Opposite Worlds. The more I read, the more I like. You can follow me on Twitter at ComedyJonah.
Hey guys, I'm James Wallington. So excited to be a part of this Opposite Worlds recap. And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington.
Yes, we can. And we can find him at AfterBuzz too, recapping Opposite Worlds. When are you doing it, James? It's Wednesday nights right after the show. Tell the people.
Yeah, so I'm recapping Opposite Worlds on AfterBuzz TV, and it's going to be every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it would be midnight for all you Eastern Standard Time folks.
And that is kind of a really good segue because I have a little programming note for everybody. We were originally always going to do our recaps on Thursdays, but we're going to do them on Fridays from now on because we're doing the exit interviews on Fridays, and I feel like it gives a nice 2-day buffer in between when James does his show and everybody does their show. So I think it'll be, you know, a good thing and work out well for everybody.
I think it'll be good, but let me be a devil's advocate a little bit there, Mrs. Curto.
Well,
what are people going to get 2 days later from your reality recaps for Opposite Worlds?
Well, here's what I'm saying. All of you guys are going to go to James at AfterBuzz, right? So this is what you'll do. Like, right. The show is over.
Tell us what to do.
Okay.
Tell us what to do.
I'm telling you all. The show ends. Oh, my God. Who do we talk to about it? You go to James on AfterBuzz. That's where you go.
I have things to say. Where do I call in?
Uh-huh. Then you guys are busy. Like, the house stuff is happening in the house. It's all going on live. And, but you guys have lives. You got, like, show to show
I'm
to
on the website too. I don't know what to vote for.
Right. So there's all
Show
this
to shovel?
stuff happening.
Isn't that what we did earlier?
It is what we did earlier. Point being, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the house. We will get all that information for you. We'll have like 2 days to just get everything from you from the website. We'll tell you where to go, who to vote on, all the extra stuff that might happen between like
What to
Wednesday,
vote for, who to vote for.
Thursday. Yeah, everything. So I'm just saying, you go to James on AfterBuzz right after the show. You just come here on Friday and
That's
get
the
everything.
first step.
That's the first step, is what you do. And you know what else you guys do? You thumbs up these videos and you subscribe to this YouTube channel because that helps support our show. And later on the edited version, we're going to have Rachel Horton, who was, spoiler alert, eliminated last night, or the night before. I don't even know if they were on anymore. We will have her in the edited version. But let's talk week 1 right now. Because, James, I listened to you on AfterBuzz talk about it, and I have to say, you guys buried the lead. Nobody even talked about the fact that this show started with everybody wearing thongs and their asses hanging out.
I mean, how can you not talk about that? That's like the lead-in to the entire series. We're half-naked people standing in spotlights for dramatic effect. It was awesome.
So awesome.
Would you have done capture, James, if they would have told you? Because this is something John and I were discussing earlier with the white spandex suits and everything. So if the producers would have come up to you and said, James, here's the deal. Capture starts with you wearing a thong and a full body scan. Are you in?
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, I love adventure, and it's part of the experience. So you kind of have to enjoy it as it roll with the punches and go with it.
Okay, well, that's +1 for James. Eric would have been like, see you later, bye.
See you later, bye.
Not happening. You guys comment below and let us know what you would have done, John.
If I had enough wine in me, I probably could do it.
Wow. I was upset that there was no Luke body scan thong thing happening.
I know.
Hey, Luke. Be a team player, buddy.
He makes me lukewarm. I don't get it. I don't get it.
What?
I don't get it.
He doesn't.
I trust you, James, because he's been in front of you physically.
Yeah.
Eric's behind the scenes. You, I trust with your judgment, so it must be good.
Yeah, he's very good looking. And let me tell you, every night that we were, filming the eliminations on Capture, it was nice to see Luke. It felt nice and warm inside for Rebecca and I.
I'll break it down for you, James. John doesn't like anybody unless they're a ginger. Okay, blonde hair doesn't work for John.
No,
that's the problem.
I mean, I like gingers. I like every color of the rainbow. I'm good, but Luke just seems kind of just average. That's all.
You know what else is good, John Richardson? The future world, where half the cast was put and didn't have to fight for some reason. They got to go to the lap of luxury with the iPads and the iPhones and the full...
What lap of luxury are they getting with the iPads? Are they playing Candy Crush? I mean, they have no internet. They cannot talk. They cannot...
That's it.
Oh, they are. They're taking selfies. Whoop, whoop.
Mm-hmm. I don't have my cell phone. We should all take a live show selfie right now and tweet them.
We should.
Look at you two that have time for cell phones during the show. I loved Future World, and I loved me some Athena. I am obsessed with Athena, who, both of you on your iPhones, is clearly related to Siri in some way.
Yeah.
But do you think she's going to be used for evil later, James? Or do you think that she's going to remain this positive, helpful force in the house?
Well, I mean, you and I have talked about it. I feel like there's maybe some elements to this game that contestants, if they were smart enough, might want to utilize. And I feel like if Athena is there to aim to please, then why not take advantage of Athena and see what you can get away with? I feel like there's something that Athena brings, another element that we might find out later on, if that makes any sense.
See, I think that she's going to start working working against them. And you would have thought, now I'm like repurposing this joke from earlier, but there is that movie where it's like the guy's voice and he's the computer and he takes over and it's like, why are you dismantling me, Dave? Because the computer takes over. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's going to be Athena. I think she's going to do that. Like, they're going to try to, like, you know, she's going to turn the heat up in the house.
I said the movie was iRobot. We still don't know what it is. Do you know what movie he's talking about, James?
No, because the only movie I can think of is Smart House, one of the Disney Channel movies.
Okay.
Yeah, because we weren't born in the 60s, John. That's
oh, shut
up. He's not laughing anymore. I switched the camera to him.
No, I'm not. Whatever.
What was up? And James, here was my favorite thing that you said to me about Athena, and it was, why doesn't she just tell them to? Why don't they just ask her to eliminate the past, since she's there to help? Like, bye, past, just eliminate them. But why don't you tell everybody what you guys were talking about the food situation in the future? Because we see the past has, like, the Subway loaves of bread, which really isn't fair. Talk about the food a little bit and how you guys thought maybe it could be a little more fair in the future world.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the producer, Steven, on our AfterBuzz show, you know, suggested, if they're in the future, why aren't they having, like, diet, like supplements, vitamins, and like really kind of, you know, more futuristic food, like astronaut food, like space food in general,
like Tang, like Tang and right? Isn't that what astronauts drink? They drink Tang.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it would have been cool to maybe see, like, you even see them out nowadays as like those really nifty, like up-to-date, high-tech vending machines. It'd be kind of cool to see something like that where you press a button on the wall and it prepares it for you, rather than coming back from the present and having this platter of sushi laid out for you on a table. You know? Just my thoughts.
That doesn't seem, or even like the gum, like in Willy Wonka, where it was like, ooh, I can taste like tomato soup now.
Yes.
Like, that would be futuristic instead of just sushi.
Awesome.
I can get sushi in like 15 minutes. Am I in the future? No.
Yeah, we are actually in 2014, and hey, Google, it would be great if you could get your shit together so that we could all be in HD and John wouldn't be all pixelated. Speaking of, are you done?
And speaking of 2000s, the movie is 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh,
nobody cares.
HAL 9000 is the voice in the computer that takes over and tries to kill everyone.
Oh,
I'm just
God.
saying.
You know what I'm just saying? I'm saying I have a question, and let's see see if this works.
Okay, good.
Siri, are you related to Athena?
I can't answer that.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Siri. And that's
hey, you know,
why...
HAL 9000, your boyfriend.
Well,
I'd rather not talk about hell, but if you must...
I'm telling you,
not talk about hell?
Siri's under contract.
Girl. I'd rather not talk about hell, but if I must.
If she's related to Athena, she's probably under contract and can't say much.
Oh, that is probably true. Unfortunately,
True.
As we know on this show, anytime we use our Apple iPhone to ask Siri a question, she can't help us. So that's why I like Athena. She's able to climate control the beds, raise the toilet bowl, use the shower. Siri likes to hold down my notes.
She aims to please.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you guys think of the big countdown timer reveal? You know, with Jeffrey freaking out over the countdown timer and what's going to happen. I don't understand why nobody thought, hey, look, the big black wall looks a little out of place in the big white house. Don't know how to put that.
Well, like a big old black curtain, right?
Uh-huh.
Poor Jeffrey. Jeffrey was just scared. She was just a scared little gay. That's all. It was with the timer and everything. It's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I mean, even Danielle, too, was like, oh my gosh, you know, the countdown started happening, and I just didn't even know what to think. I got really scared. I got really nervous. I think for me, for like dramatic sake and for entertainment, I really think I can just picture myself in an interview and being like, I saw that countdown. My mind went to the movies and I thought there was going to be a bomb going off.
Honey, I would have been grabbing my iPad. I would have been scraping sushi in a bag and running, okay, into the backyard.
See, I would have played it the exact same way as you two. Unless everybody else was doing that, then I just would have been like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, you think they're going to come out and shoot us when it gets to 1? It's like...
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you signed your life away. They can pretty much do whatever just for ratings.
Apparently they can even break your leg. Yeah.
Let's talk one more thing, because I want to know what you guys think about this, and I want everybody to comment below. Do you guys, now that we've seen a week play out in the house, we know Luke was saying the past seems to be an advantage because it makes you want to fight harder, and we talked about that a little bit in our preview episode. But now that we've kind of seen a week play out, do you guys still feel like there is an advantage to the past over the future, or vice versa? Go ahead, James.
I feel like, okay, this is where I'm really frustrated with how the game began, because I feel like there are a lot more advantages in the future because you get better sleep, you get better food, you get better accommodations where you do feel more comfortable. And from my experiences on Capture, when you're stripped of nutrition and food and comfort, you start to break down and deteriorate a little bit, and you're not as physical. So I feel like when it comes to these challenges, the worldly challenges, the future's going to kind of have the upper hand because they're taking care of themselves because of what they're given as far as resources. I do think the past does get that little extra edge to really fight harder, but that can only go for a certain amount of time, and so they're going to start getting depleted. They're not going to do well. So I'm a little nervous about how the past is going to do in these challenges if they're not given the resources they need.
Well, you would think the past would want to fight more, right? Like Luke said that to us. I commonly sense thought the same thing. Future looks like wimps in their little white onesies and everything. But they seem to want it to stay in the future a lot more than the past wants to be in the future. Does that make sense?
That's a good point.
I was shocked. Yeah, I was shocked that they had so much fight in them.
Especially when I feel like you're thrown into these environments, you're just adapting.
Yeah.
And maybe the past is becoming so comfortable and they kind of have that momentum going that they don't want to change it up. They're like, I'll shit in a hole. I'm fine.
I am not giving up my pad. Screw you. You go in your toilet hole.
Is still obsessed with toilet holes.
I'm still obsessed with toilet hole.
At least he's not. He was obsessed with something else earlier. I'm not even going to say the word. Maybe Athena is going to have to intervene some here, because I agree with you, James. There still is no advantage to me to the past at all. I'm not buying it, especially like you said, when you factor in nutrition and lack of sleep, lack of water.
I saw bowls of carrots. I saw them chopping stuff up on that big log. I mean, I don't know if they're that food deprived. They just have to prepare their food, right?
Well, if you look at it in calories, amount of calories, they're not getting enough to sustain them. And not to mention, they're in the cold. They always talk about how cold they are. So if you're trying to sleep and you're huddled, all of them in their complaints that first night was like, I was miserable. I didn't get sleep. I was cold. I was uncomfortable. So I just don't get what the producer's mindset was when they divided these two teams. Like, what was their logic? I wish we would have seen that.
I'm putting that on the list. That is going to be my first question. I've already written it down as to if there was some sort of a strategy I'd like to know. Or maybe you could use your Luke connection, James, and get that answer. Did you did you also find out, James, where they are filming this show yet? Or do we still not know that?
I heard through the grapevine that it was New Orleans, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the case or why that would even be.
Isn't New Orleans, here's where everyone's going to make fun of me, isn't New Orleans in the South? So wouldn't it not be freezing there? Right? Like, it shouldn't be that cold, right? Am I wrong? Then again, maybe not. We're like -4 today.
I could be completely wrong.
Go ahead,
left
John.
Your backyard, Eric? I mean,
we have been over this. I went to Catholic school and we did not get Geography. I was in religion, asking about the Bible.
I'm gonna buy you a globe from like a thrift store so that you can be like hands-on with the world.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can edit a video, though. Okay, so we see both worlds, and then we find out Luke comes out with his G'day mate in front of his split-down house and says, hey, everybody, we're going to the Worldy Challenge. And that's when shit gets crazy, because, oh my God.
He's like, everyone, meet me in the present. Okay, well, I'm in the future, and you're in the past, and let's go to the present, and... very confused.
It is very confusing. I tried to explain it to somebody. That's why I'm trying to like put the points in right now. Because I just want to make sure going forward we have this guy. And I like how the future has to knock on the glass and be like, past, let's go to the future.
Well, I was trying to explain it to everyone in my carpool for work, and they're like, so the Duel of Destiny, is that in the present or the past? And I'm like, no, you're just not getting it.
And that's what we're here for, is to explain it to you all.
They thought I was talking like Dungeons and Dragons or something. I'm like, no, it's a show.
And then there's the protectors and the decider.
Oh, and the deciders, the protectors.
And then Jeff Rye. I mean, what the hell?
And then Jeff Rye screws up my whole game list. I'm like, what? I need an E. I do too.
They go to the Worldy Challenge where Luke says, we're throwing down the gauntlet. It's team versus team. Kronos is the future. Epoch is the past. Whoever wins the Worldy Challenge gets to decide what world they want to live in. John is still not over it. And tasers. There's a big pedestal. What? What? Yeah, you mute yourself. James and I got this one. So there's a big pedestal in the middle with tasers on the end of this cattle prod. James, what were your thoughts when you saw it?
Well, I can't even focus. Okay, the whole point of that challenge, I feel like it wasn't executed properly. I think producers had this big, like, grand idea that the tasers were going to be a huge part of this challenge, but it really just turned into this wrestling match. And I really wanted to see more use of the tasers, and I wanted to see people, like, really react to it. It was like a little prick, and they'd be like, oh, okay. It
was like American Gladiators looking thing, right?
Yeah.
When was that show on? In the 80s? Right. So
my father told me that. I looked it up on Wikipedia, so there. I did my research.
I think that I think it was Lauren on this Worldy Challenge. On accident, when she ran up to the little pedestal, she accidentally picked the taser wand cattle prodding thing right off. That is how I would have played it. I would have been like, Eric, don't play taser guns, and I would have ran up, got on that platform, kicked it off, and been like, now I'll just push you off without the tasers, because I would have jumped off. Honestly, somebody was coming at me.
I would have spun it like a baton and just started shocking everyone. I'm like, no one's taking my champagne.
That's because you think you're Wonder Woman.
It'd be like the 4th of July. I'd be like Kenya.
Why, when the past walked up to it, shouldn't they have been like, what is this thing?
Because they're both
electricity.
But they're in the present, so they get all that knowledge back.
They should have had, like, clubs, like, from the Flintstones, like what Bam Bam carries around. Like, they should have had, like, the actual weapons from their time.
They should have had a lot of things, as the past should have. But whatever. Now, Jesse and James, I'm interested to get your viewpoint on this.
Yes.
Jesse comes up. It's kind of the heat of the moment. They're clearly battling. He lunges at Charles. Granted, I guess they're saying before the start time or before Charles was at his mark. They both tumble off, and we come to learn Charles breaks his leg in 2 places.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on how that all played out?
You know, I definitely don't think it looks good for Jesse's image on this show because he still is continuously one of the least popular players. Sucks for him. I think in that situation, you don't know what you do as far as strategy. And I think he, in his mind, thought this was going to be an excellent strategy. And for me, I think it could have been executed properly, but it unfortunately was an epic fail on his behalf. You know, like he just didn't think it through properly and pushed him back towards the ramp rather than off to the side. So it sucks. I don't think Jesse did it deliberately, like a lot of people are saying, and they're calling him a douchebag. I think it was just unfortunate gameplay.
I do as well. I think it was a heat of the moment thing. I don't even really have a problem with him pushing him off backwards. I mean, the rules are set up. It's knock the person off. For God's sakes, they have tasers. I saw somebody tweet out, like, kicking's not okay, but tasering the other person is. So, I mean, I don't think he did it on purpose at all, but it really sucks. There are a lot of injuries in that game. Lauren sprained her finger, somebody else was in the arm splint, and then poor Charles breaks his leg.
It's everyone from the past that was injured, right?
Yeah, they were not protected at all.
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't. And it came down to a tie. It was It kind of seemed like Kronos was going to win, but then when Jesse got that foul point for knocking Charles off, then it kind of sort of tied up right after that. But in the end, it was Kronos that won, and not surprisingly, they decided to stay in the future. And I should just say for everybody, Team Kronos is breaking down as follows. It's Frank, Jeffrey, Jesse, Rachel, Lizette, and Danielle. And Team Epoch is Angela, Charles, Sam, JR, Lauren, and Wyatt. So Team Kronos wins. They go back to the future. They find out that they have a whole nother hot tub area and the fire pit. And then we find out my favorite part of the episode was with, who was it? Lauren in the past. They get their new area and she's like, ooh, we get a waterfall, look at the water feature. But as we know from our preview show with Luke, no honey, that's your whole water source. That's your drinking water, your bathing water, your toilet water, your everything.
Yeah, you haven't really seen them talk about water much, and that's like the essential to survival anyway. So it's like, I'm surprised they haven't put two and two together, or why we haven't seen that really.
I feel like, SyFy, please, we are begging you, give us feeds of some sort. Like, just 2 hours a day. Let them know it's going to be on if you have to. But just, there is so much. You could be getting lots of money in ad sales on your website. I need more. I need to know what is happening in that house full time. But, all right. So, after the whole entire Worldy challenge, Kronos wins, they go back to the future. We then find out that they are deciders who are picked by each team. They have to pick the protected. The teams get to pick the people that are protected. Kronos picks Lizette, and Epoch picks JR. Do we think those were good choices or no?
It's so early in the game that they really didn't have much to base it off of, especially not really knowing what the protected meant. Mm-hmm. I think they, Lizette was right, and she rightfully earned it because she played 2 battles and won both of them. So Lizette made sense. Yeah. JR, I think, is just an endearing, likable guy on the past side. So
let's talk about that. So once the 2 teams pick their protected person, which means these are the people that will not go into the Duel of Destiny, and we as America vote on one of those 2 people, and then they will choose which person from their team and the other team fights in the Duel of Destiny to be eliminated. We're going to have a chart, apparently. Don't worry. So they also get to switch and get information from the other tribes. Now, this is what I like. Sure, Lizette goes over there. She finds out what everybody does. Great strategy, Lizette. We're over it. Jeffrey
Yes.
goes and tries to make an alliance with JR, which, as much as I don't like him, I thought was a good strategy and a good play on his part. What do you guys think?
I completely agree. You have to play both sides in this competition. There's two different worlds, ultimately, at the end of the day. And if you have the opportunity to speak to the other world, you should absolutely take advantage of that. I think Jeffrey's very intelligent, even though if I don't like him, I think he's playing the game, and that's playing the game is ultimately going to take you further, whether our votes come into play or not. You know what I mean?
Clearly, the protected people are safe, and then we as America vote on them. But either way, even if we didn't vote on them, those two people are safe each week. And then America picks, hey, who's going to, go into the Duel of Destiny? I feel like the most important person all these people should be playing to is us as America. And I think now that they realize America voted for who should be the decider, has begun to tip them off. I think once these punishments come up next week and they find out we voted on them, it is going to switch the way these people play the game. And they should be playing to us. Again, I'd be in the past with my diabetes. If I just had some water, America help me.
Get him some water and a butterscotch for his diabetes.
Right. Because, Angela's over there, like, being Miss Positivity. I would be in the corner, like, anybody.
Hey, I love Angela. I'm so team Angela for her positivity. I think it's great.
I thought was interesting was that JR got over 90% of the votes.
That's
on
huge.
Social media.
Yeah.
It's huge over Lisette.
Mm-hmm.
I think they saw what I saw. I think America
did.
And what was that, John?
That Easter came early this year.
Because he has the big package? I swear I need to go back and look. I did not notice at all.
I definitely noticed, but I didn't think.
I never noticed, but it was that, I don't know, is that obvious?
Maybe next time you're watching, you could take some notes, and then you wouldn't have to.
I'm going to take a selfie.
Now, what was I heard you saying on AfterBuzz, James? You were like, "What is JR's accent?" And I believe my reply was swollen tongue, because he kind of talks like he has a swollen tongue, right?
Yeah, that's actually a really good comparison. But it says he's from Tennessee on his bio, but didn't he say that he lives in West Virginia?
Well, are we going by bios? Because we also were told that Angela was a Brazilian or Portuguese firecracker.
That's true.
And then we heard JR was a lawyer who is very argumentative and always needs to be right, and we get like Humpty Dumpty Muppet. So these bios are wrong. I'm saying
Humpty Dumpty Big Crotch. Yeah,
that's a good point. They're not very accurate to the characters we are seeing on the show.
We also didn't see Lizette going elephant. Elephant.
Oh yeah.
Elephant.
I feel like I'm crazy.
So I know you feel how I felt, James, about Jeffrey calling, who was it? Angela, a bitch. And that's when I started not liking him.
I just thought it was interesting that he's basing a judgment of what he sees through the other side of the glass wall. It does not do anything good for his character at all. I just was really impulsed by it, especially with his profile. Again, here we go, a nonprofit coordinator guy who's also a mentor to high school students. You don't think that's how he would treat or talk to other people. You know what I mean? It's a little disappointing.
Right. Well, you would think he'd like be certified in like diversity training or whatever, right? And then to sit there and act like that.
Yeah, I think I remember saying on the cast preview thing that we did, I had high hopes for Jeffrey based on what we read, and it had to do with he's a nonprofit person and he works with high school students, and that's really cool, and I wanted to root for him, but he's been nothing but a disappointment so far.
Ladies, can we just agree that, boy, our pre-show, we were wrong.
Oh my God. Complete 180, because I like Sam, and at first I dissed on her. I love her.
We just on her non-fat mocha lattes, one shot, trot, whatever. And I like her too.
I adore her. And the Fulcrum Adventure girl, Lauren, love her. Like, what?
You two got it wrong. I said I like Sam on the pre-show. So
someone had to like her.
James is onto my secret already. He knows I have to be the opposite.
You are transparent.
You guys didn't like Jeffrey, and then I was like, oh, we have to root for him.
I like this. I like this, James. He knows how to play the reality recaps game. That way, we get people to comment below and pick a side. So, yeah. I can't believe, but then again, we were basing our opinions, like we said, off their bios, which none of them seem to really be living up to their bios.
I feel like that's editing, though. I think like if you're going to put that out there to project to us as an audience, editing should be showing that. Or casting completely got it wrong about who these people really were.
Maybe it's a future War of the Worlds game where we have to match the right bio to the person. We don't know.
I love how you said it so seriously. Yes, John, I think that is exactly what's happening. So, we are finally up to John's favorite part of the show now. We are finally up to the
Duel of Destiny?
Of Destiny. And
let me get my hat on. Where's my hat? Where's my Duel of Destiny hat?
You have a Duel of Destiny hat? No, he doesn't have a Duel of Destiny hat, although I wouldn't be surprised. He has one of those like double meat beer hats.
Oh my God.
First of all, it would be welcome to the Duel of Destiny. I can't do it.
Welcome to the Duel of Destiny. Welcome.
All right. Should we give Luke, because this is a good point. So, well, first just let me give everyone the little explanation quick. And it is, like we said, there's JR, there's Lizette. Those are who the teams chose. Then we as America chose JR to be the decider, which means he gets to pick the person from his team and the other team to go into the battle. However, before, he lets the teams talk. Did he seem to lose a little bit of control when Jesse and Wyatt were going at each other like they wanted to kill each other? What did you guys think of the whole Jesse and Wyatt exchange, where it really seemed like that would have made sense for them two to go in?
I didn't think it would make sense for those two to go in, but I was a little surprised. I still don't quite understand why Wyatt got as intense as he did about that situation. Like, I completely agree with Rachel when she jumped in there and was like, this whole thing is ridiculous. And it is. It's like, move on.
I'll go home.
Well, I don't understand why Rachel and Lauren and I think Angela, they're like, we don't want to go in. Don't put us in. Please don't put us in. Why would we want to do that? How stupid is that? Because now if I'm the person deciding, I would be like, I'm putting the person in that doesn't want to go in.
See, I don't think the decider did a very good job deciding, okay?
So what would you have done?
I understand that Wyatt, what his beef was with Jesse, because what's his name, broken leg in 2 spots, was in the military, and that's his bro, and he's going to do that for his bro, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to win this for you, bro. Not for the $100,000, for you, bro. And that's why he kind of wanted to get at it. But, for the girls to jump in, I would have put Wyatt and Jesse. I want to see them just.
I would have too. Why would you? Because I think Wyatt would have destroyed Jesse in that, because he was in the military. He said he had this water training, although he might have been lying. Why do you think it wasn't a good idea, James?
Well, as we already saw, JR and Jeffrey have an alliance. They agreed to have an alliance, and Jeffrey kind of took initiative and said, JR, the person on our team is Rachel. He just threw Rachel under the bus. I think if JR is going to want to appease Jeffrey, he's going to do that at least. So I kind of had a feeling that Rachel was going to go in. I didn't understand his logic at putting Angela in there, though.
I have to say, though, in her defense, it was apparently 20 degrees. Could you imagine how cold that water is? Her body must... Both of their bodies.
Times 2. It was 40, okay? Whatever. You know, it's really hard to figure out, you know, people lying about their water training.
It was a dumb move because obviously Rachel lost. It was close there for a second, but unfortunately it was Rachel who was eliminated first week.
And doesn't that look bad as the decider when you decide who's going to play and then the person from your team loses and you're the decider? Like, do we think there's going to be some kind of like repercussions down the road for that?
Oh, I'm sure. Because if you make the wrong choice, your team's going to be upset with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, JR got lucky that Rachel did not beat Angela. He got really lucky because going into it, I really thought Rachel had it.
Yeah, I loved how poor Rachel, and I mean loved in a funny way, is like freezing hypothermic. And there's Luke, like, how was it? How was that? Was that a good experience?
You couldn't even see their breath. How cold
yes, you could.
Did she say she felt like a baby deer?
She said she couldn't breathe, which I understand. God forbid my shower water is not hot enough, and I said it's like lukewarm. I'm like,
I don't even know where New Orleans is.
No, but seriously, because I got tweets from people like, did you catch that? I feel like she said baby deer, and I thought she said baby deer too. When he was like, how do you feel? And she's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you know how a baby deer feels? Or something like that. And I was just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Which, where did I put? Oh, here we go. So, we all voted. And guess what? Once again, we voted for JR to be the as the most popular and Jeff Fry as the least popular. So now we all get to vote on rewards and punishments. And I know that James is on my side on this.
Hell yeah.
So here is what they get. JR can either have a nice dinner with the player of his choosing, while at the same time, Jeff Fry is getting no food for 24 hours with a player of his choosing. Or choice 2 is JR gets 1 hour alone with somebody from the other team while Jeff Fry is imprisoned in the backyard alone overnight. That is not a punishment on a reality show when you are surrounded by other people and would give anything for some alone time.
I want to see Jeff Fry isolated. I think he's going to go crazy. I think he's going to be like twisting his hair by the fire and just talking to himself.
Yeah.
Starving. Oh my God.
He's in the future, so that's true. He does have fire. What do you think?
Okay.
I would love to see Jeffrey get humbled a little bit because he's really annoying. He's really full of himself. He's a little too comfortable being in the future. And I think he needs a little dose of reality. And I would love to see him get a little isolated or starved for 24 hours.
I want starving Jeff Fry. I want him having a temper tantrum. I want some low blood sugar levels on him. That is what I want to say. So yeah, you all can go to the Opposite Worlds website. The link will be below this video, and you guys can vote for how we are going to punish and reward them. Just to back you up a little bit, James, Michelle on the chat room is saying she heard it was New Orleans as well because someone identified the ambulance that picked up Charles, and then Luke confirmed it in a tweet.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, you two, we have discussed this week enough. So you two relax. You'll be back after the interview because we need to get to this Rachel interview. And look, here's what I have to say. You want to pay attention. Do not skip this. She is giving us all of the dirt, all of the behind the scenes info, filling us in on the way things actually went down. So look, you don't need me to explain it to you anymore. Let's just roll this amazing interview with Rachel, and then we'll all be back to say goodbye to you guys after. Roll it!
Hey, Rachel, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Ah, I am so happy to finally be talking with you. We have so much opposite worlds to go over.
Oh my gosh, I was so there. So I can so help you with that.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about how you found out about the show? Because we want to know how you found out about the show.
I was actually approached by casting for Opposite Worlds, and then they ended up talking to my manager. I actually don't know. It's something that's been kind of an enigma to me. I asked around a little bit at the beginning, but the head of casting said to me, like, so how'd they find you? I'm like, I have no idea. He goes, yeah, we've got people all around. So they ended up finding me.
Well, that's a really good point, because you really are a big online entity already. You're a gamer. You're known for that. How did that kind of help you in the game, or did it have any advantages or disadvantages while you were there?
You know, I think having more time, I would have seen more advantages. But the two, obviously the challenge and the duel, were both very strongly based on physicality.
Right.
So in the house, I mean, of course, these things all apply to your natural life, but I hadn't gotten a chance in any challenge or duel, obviously, to use my wit and intellect.
Well, we have our fingers crossed that, you know, maybe there'll be some new twist and America can demand you back in. I know another question a lot of people are asking. I'm actually not sure if you can answer it, but can you shed any light as to how the teams were picked as to who went into the future and who went into the past? Was that kind of a random decision, or how did that play out, how you guys were separated originally?
From what I understand, this was based on a coin toss, and a very good one, if my point's considered, because I did not want to be on the other side, so it was a lucky coin toss in my favor.
Right. I mean, we spoke with Luke, for example, when we did our pre-show about Opposite Worlds, and he was really trying to sell us that there were some good advantages about living in the past. And I don't see them. And I know that you didn't have a chance to live in the past, but how do you feel being in the future world or in that game? Do you feel like living in the past is an advantage?
You know, did he clarify on that? Because I'm not seeing them either. As far as I could tell from the other side of that glass, and just from what I could understand, living in the past was not fun at all. I don't see anything as being an advantage. It seems like they weren't able to get sleep. They weren't able to get the nutrients. I mean, sure, once they started the fire, they were able to gather around it. But, from what I could see, it was very, very harsh. And I don't feel, when you see the future, you're like, okay, these people are getting stronger. They have nourishment. They have warm beds. They have, everything about it was in favor. So it almost seemed a little unfair in the beginning. As they get adjusted, they're probably getting a little more stronger on the past side. I don't know with how the challenges are going, who's going to win or lose, and who's going to be staying on future or leaving for past. So I don't see these advantages. If you find out, let me know, because I just don't see any.
Yeah, I think Luke's point was that it makes you fight harder being in the past. You're going to want to fight harder, whereas you guys in the future, Team Kronos, would maybe get a little bit lazy and feel like, oh, we have everything under control here. But I don't think so. And I think I agree with you. The nutrients part of it it's going to be hard to fight in these physical challenges when you're not getting enough calories every day. But let's talk about that, because your first Worldy challenge was insane. There was no kicking allowed, but there was cattle prodding tasers allowed.
Oh my gosh.
So what was that like? Yeah, go ahead.
The point's brought up a lot. People keep saying, "Oh, you're probably getting lazy in the future," but we were actually working out almost every day. Danielle is a personal trainer, so in just phases and groups, we would end up working out. So I mean, it wasn't like we were getting necessarily lazy, and there were actually a lot of things to figure out in the future. And you're also always trying to find something that makes a cohesive group environment when you're living with individuals like this, especially such strong-willed and opinionated and strong personalities. So as far as the first challenge is concerned, that was madness. I didn't believe it was real. He comes out, they come out with these sticks with stun guns on both sides. I'm like, there's no way. That is not real. We have to go up on a 10-foot platform and American Gladiator our way to the bottom. I didn't feel good about that at all.
Yeah, that was I was like, no, this is not real. Now, could you have kicked them off? Because I see like some people would accidentally kick the tasers off. I would have just kicked the taser off and then kind of ran right for the person. Or did you kind of have to be using them in that challenge?
No, actually, we clarified in the beginning you didn't have to use they called them lightning sticks. Right. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a dual-ended weapon with tasers on it. Or stun guns rather. But they clarified in the beginning you don't have to, but they recommend it because it's part of, the game. So it always comes down to what happened with Jesse. It's like, oh, what's the strategy? Why did he just drop the stick or not pick it up? And, it was, his point was to get, Charles off the platform as quickly as he could.
Right.
So using them, it takes a lot of time to get that up. If you were to take the dual-ended stun gun and hit the button and hold it, it would turn off and it would be dead for like 5 seconds or something.
Right.
Which totally messes up your game.
Yeah.
So if you tap it, it just and keeps going. So you'll notice like a lot that you'll see it just like repeatedly going off. Picking up that stick, every bit of fear is in your heart. Like, oh my God, I'm about to get stunned. I'm about to get tased. Don't tase me, bro. But as it ends up, you have this adrenaline high that is just unbeatable that you don't even, at that point, you don't even feel it.
Right. You were very vocal. You mentioned the whole Jesse and James, what happened with them and Jesse, getting Charles knocked down and eventually breaking his leg. I know on the live show you were kind of like, why are we focusing on this? It seemed like Wyatt and Jesse were really going at it. Expand on how you feel about it.
Honestly, I was standing right behind watching the entire time. And you know what? As fast as he came at him, I saw Charles' foot out of the box. The box was our safety box. So as soon as we stepped out of that box, it would go. So when he stepped out of that box, we all thought it was completely legal and like that it was fair. It was horrible watching and I gasped as soon as I saw it, very, very quickly. But it looked completely fair. And the producers came to us and they said, we watched the tape over and over and over again and Charles' heel was still on the line. So when you're up there and you're charging up there because you have to run up that thing and you get up there near a box. If you see when I was standing there, I tried to like jump out of the box immediately and he's like, no. He's like telling us like on my count. And so I was up there. You're not thinking about this. You're thinking there's a stun gun and I'm about to get this tased out. So I'm going to try and get to that stick as soon as I can and beat the other person trying to get to that stick as soon as they can. So, and that was in the rules. The rules are like you stay there and then you go pick up your stick, but you're like immediately trying to run out the gate. So when Charles's foot was still on the line, they had to even check and see what, is this against the rules that we told them? It became an unfair disqualification, because Charles's foot was still on the line. Now, when Jesse charged, he expected resistance, any sort of resistance, because when you're on a 10-foot platform, you're going to have your foot behind you, you're going to be holding yourself up, and especially with Charles's background, which from his tattoos was kind of understood, he had extensive military tattooing, he was expecting kind of more of a fight, but since Charles hadn't been entirely ready, that wasn't there, and that's why Jesse went off with him, and you don't want to go off because then you have to come right back up, reset, and it's a rematch. So you can tell he didn't mean to. Especially nobody means to hurt anybody on this game. Yeah. you're worried enough about getting hurt yourself for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But
it was clear. It was clear that it was just adrenaline, I think, for me as a viewer. Now, let's talk a little bit. We actually have a question from Miss Cleo BB15 on Twitter, who wants to know if you guys were aware how much the audience and the fans are involved in this game. Because it kind of seems like we're almost the person that you guys should be playing to, because we're really, in a way, deciding the fate of who is going into the Duel of Destiny. So were you guys aware of that, of maybe playing each other, but also being aware that we're watching and voting?
Not a clue. We didn't have any clue. It's like being completely disconnected from the world. And when we went in there, we were blind. And by blind, I mean we were blindfolded until we were standing on the steps of the houses.
Right.
So we had no idea. We were wardrobed, completely blindfolded the entire time, and we weren't allowed to talk to each other. We had all of our devices, our phones, our tablets, whatever we had, taken away from us. So we had no clue even what we were really going to be on until the only thing we were on blindfolded for if we were out of our rooms was to be under a spotlight and have the intro film. So like, hi, naked people next to me. Oh, hello. It was really bizarre. So yeah, we had no idea. And, the entire time I was there, I'm thinking, am I playing this game the right way? Yes, this is my team. Should I be doing something differently? No, I'm just going to be myself. So now, as far as I understand, the way that some people are playing the game, it's not working out for them. Yeah.
It is. I'm interested to see, though. I kind of feel like, Luke exposed some of that during the live show. So I'm hoping that people are going to catch on to that now going forward, but it'll be interesting to see.
During the live show when actually during the first show, he was telling us, okay, we're going to find out, I've only seen pieces of both, so I'm not sure which episode it's in, but during one of the shows when he has Lizette and Jeffrey there and picking deciders, and he goes, and Americans go to vote.
Right.
You're like, what? What do you mean? Like, where does this come from? We had no idea if it was a Twitter thing, if it was a Facebook thing, if it was an aggregate, just accumulation of both. I mean, just like call in, because anybody does that anymore, right? But, we had no idea.
Well, now, popularity index. So start tweeting away for your friends. Who are you rooting for now that's in the house? I mean, are you still pro your team or any one specific person?
I'm definitely pro my team. Everybody in there I have 100% faith in, even Jeffrey. And I think really, really highly of all of them as far as being competitors in this game. So who would I like? Who am I in favor of to win? I would love Danielle to win. I just love her as a person, and I think she's really great. I think she's fierce when it comes to the nature of competition and when it comes to being in a game. She was very hard on herself in losing, but we're like, it was so fast. There's no way you can necessarily control these factors if you don't maintain the middle of the platform as far as the challenge is concerned. And I would love Danielle to win. Who do I think's going to win? I really have a strong feeling that Jesse, if not just getting very far, will potentially win this game. He's very intelligent, he's sly, furtive, and I think he has a good grasp on how to play this game from a very intelligent standpoint.
Wow, that is shocking.
No, not me. I'm so smart. I think he's going to win for sure.
Right.
So.
Well, he is on the bottom of that popularity index every day, so it is not going to look good for him, I don't think. Here's another question from John Worthington over on Twitter, who says, did you expect to be picked for the Duel of Destiny?
I kind of did. I mean, there's two strategies in which that would go down. You've got your wise man's game, and then you have your not so wise man's game. And I think that in a game like that, to pick somebody off of the bottom as far as they're concerned, isn't necessarily the wisest strategy when you can play people's strengths against them and weaknesses against them in a particular challenge. I think that would have been a great time to get Frank off of the totem pole.
Yeah.
Because just, based on his size and strength, like he's not necessarily going to get out water that quickly. So, yeah, I think that would have been a great time for him to put Frank in, not as like, here, throw my teammate in. I didn't want any of them to go in, but I think that would have been wise of them. Also, I mean, I think that, I don't know, this is just my own opinion, but I think it would have been fun to see Wyatt, you know, duke it out with Jesse. They ended up picking me. I did think that they were going to pick me, but the entire time, as far as eye contact was concerned, Jared was actually very good. I play a lot of poker.
Mm-hmm.
His poker face is pretty on par. I mean, watching his eyes move and who he was looking at, and you know, very, very subtle things like the way his mouth was moving when he was looking at people was really counterindicative of what happened to me. So, of course, it's a shock because you're standing there and you're going, I don't want to get picked. This is going to suck. And as soon as he picked me, I was just, brutal. I don't want to do this. This sucks because, you know, when they were testing it, the testers almost couldn't even do it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I would have picked you, Rachel, from a strategy standpoint, only because you said you didn't want to. I was like, why are you saying
from our
that,
team.
Rachel? Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, but it's funny because the way it appeared with the show is different than it was. Jesse wasn't offering himself up to these gods. He actually really didn't. He said, honestly, from my as a player standpoint, he's like, that wouldn't be a good move for anybody to say, oh yeah, throw me in there, boss. Like, let's go, coach. I'm ready. No, nobody wanted to go in.
Right.
And I think they highlighted that for me the most. That I don't want to go in. Don't throw me in that, please. That's horrible. So nobody offered themselves on our side. I don't know about the past. The past may have had. I was like, yeah, throw me in there, which I would have loved him to go in. No, not against me personally, but I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is.
I definitely wanted to see Wyatt go versus Jesse. I was actually shocked that it ended up being you and Angela. I thought that was a horrible move by JR. But, I mean, what was it like being in there? I know everybody on Twitter kind of felt like this is ridiculous. This looks really easy. I don't think people realized how freezing cold that water must have been.
I mean, you have no idea. We were standing there and we're all going, this is okay. This is not as bad as it looks. And looking at somebody go through it during the day, one of the people who had gone through it, he just made it look a bit easier than it was, but the other got out. Like, this is not what I signed up for. I do not want to be in this water. But that was during the day. At nighttime, we were told that the weather was going to get down into the high 20s. So that water was cold. And when I say cold, I mean, as soon as you slide down and you hit that water, you're like, oh, that's brisk. But you submerge your head. As soon as I submerged my head, I thought, okay, I'm going to just dolphin kick and I'm going to go all the way under. That seems to be my wisest move. Then I don't have to resurface. And I tried to resurface because you're buoyant. You have on a lot of layers with it's sort of a pseudo wetsuit. It wasn't even a wetsuit. It was more like a thicker compression top and pants, and which you have to get into in 30 minutes. So in 3 minutes. So there's gaps in between your outfit. So you have that, and the helmet, which is obviously buoyant and is going to pull you up to the surface. So I didn't quite make it to the end. And there's a moment, as soon as your head goes under that water, it's like being kicked from 18 different directions in the chest, because all of your blood is flowing down in your arms and legs and fingers and everything, and face, and going towards your chest to heat you up, going towards your core to make sure that you can breathe. So as soon as my head popped up, I'm just gasping for air. I couldn't get any air into my lungs, and you're sputtering. I took water in immediately, and this threw off my ability to even go back under it. Everything in your being is fighting against going back under, and that's why on the way back, I stopped. I'm going, go, Rachel. And I hear all of my teammates going, you got this. Oh, no. And I'm thinking in my head, it's cold. You have no idea. And I'm like shouting to myself to go. And I could not go. And I'm thinking, I dated a stuntman for almost 2 years. So I've, watched all these things go down. I can feel this, we had a lot of safety and stunt coordinators, behind us to show us how to do these things very safely. So you can tell how intense these things are, these challenges and duels are, based on, we were really taught how to safely do these things. They're just very, very intense,
right.
endurance challenges and whatnot. So I feel them breathing down my back. I'm like, oh, they're going to pull me out of here and think I'm dying. So I was trying to breathe and just in and out. I mean, to go up to those poles again was absolutely agonizing. Every move is painful. There's tingles. It feels like you're being stabbed and you can't breathe. And then I moved on, and going back up, my foot kept slipping as I'm going back up the A-frame. Just kept slipping. Like, I think it's like twice each time. And so I'm like, I've got to get over this, because you also want to throw your hands up and be like, please pull me out of here. I'm dying. But, I continued on. Somebody was like, she just gave up. And they're like, you get in that water, asshole. So I dragged myself up and over that A-frame, and just I tried to get through it as much as I could, but I knew that I was way behind her. I could hear every buzz that was going on. And I remember as I was sliding down the A-frame the second time, I saw the green on my pants, and it checked me back into reality for a second, because you totally start to zone out into this weird world. You're complete derealization, and you're trying to beast mode through something that is just so agonizing.
It looked very agonizing. I could not even imagine what it was like to go through that, and it was so unfortunate to have that end your time in Opposite Worlds, because I know I was so excited to see you be in there more and see you play this game more. But I mean, I hope that we get to hear you talk more about it on Twitter. I hope that we get to talk to you again. I love hearing your insight and would love to, talk to you more about it in the future.
Yeah, definitely. My first tweet when I came back was, cold water is cold. That is all. Thank you. I mean, you turn on your technology and it's it just explodes, and it was just completely overwhelming. So, I mean, I'm slowly getting back into it. So I will definitely be more present.
Well, brilliant. Tell your fans. We know that you have a ton of fans already, but tell your new fans where they can find you on Twitter, and if there's any message you want to leave your fans with.
You can find me on Twitter at @IRachelLara. And, the moral of the story is, don't hold your breath. Not in freezing cold water, quite literally. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. There was a really strong response. I was actually back and forth between, first in popularity and second in popularity, and I didn't expect that, and that just, that meant a lot to me, that people were so supportive and really wanted me to get through that, because it was pushing myself in something that I'd never done before, and never thought I'd do ever. Nobody would think they'd ever get into that. And, I still feel really proud of myself and successful in what I did.
Well, you should be. You are amazing, and I am sure that we are going to see a lot more from you. Thank you so much, Rachel, for talking to us.
Of course.
All right, we'll keep in touch on Twitter during the season.
Definitely. Let me know.
All right. Thanks so much, Rachel. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
So, final thoughts on this first week of, I was going to say capture, Opposite World. James, go.
I love it, and I want some more of it. This show's amazing, and I think it's very unique. And like I said, I feel like if Survivor, Big Brother, Hunger Games all had a love child with a little bit of Glass House, it would be this show. So I'm excited to see how it plays out, because with the popularity index, it's going to fluctuate. It's already fluctuated within the last 12 hours I've checked it. And it's fun to see the numbers kind of change and see who's going to be in power and who's going to not be in power at all. So I love it.
I'm loving it too. I'm loving all the names. I'm loving that people don't understand what I'm talking about. It's like my own secret language, but I love it.
Epoch Kronos.
Epoch Kronos. I'm off to the Duel of Destiny right now. So.
Be in the toilet hole.
I'll be in the toilet hole later. Starving.
They can follow me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at Mr. James Wally.
Where I heard James will be doing one of those body scan shot as requested. Well, that about wraps up our show for this week, but we have so much more stuff coming up for you guys all week long. As you know, we are covering Bachelor with vlogs. We're chatting live during, obviously, Bachelor. We do that for the Bravo shows like The Real Housewives of Atlanta and Beverly Hills. We have vlogs on those, recap video shows, of course, Opposite Worlds, of course, our daily vlogs. Amazing Race All-Stars is starting soon, as is Survivor. So, welcome to your reality recaps, everyone, is what I am saying. Make sure you thumbs up this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as our daily vlog channel, because those are some pretty funny, daily vlogs that we're doing over there. I love that you guys are loving them. But check out the website too, yourrealityrecaps.com. Click around it, view all our videos, blogs, and our live show page for everything that we do live. Because as you guys know, you can watch these shows live, or those of you that are watching this one, this is the edited version with all the bells and whistles that we archive later on. So once again, thank you guys all so much for watching. We will be on Twitter all weekend, and then we'll be back on Monday with a new daily vlog and some super mega special announcement that you are not going to want to miss in that vlog. So we will see you guys all then. Bye for now.